Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. This is Fight Week, Joshua versus Usyk, and who better to talk about Joshua versus Usyk than the man himself, Uncle James Ali Bashir. Let's get him straight into the room. Uncle Bashir, how are we doing?
Everything is good. I'm feeling fine.
Fantastic. So this is a special edition for our viewers that are in Africa. So particularly watching TNT across Africa. For people who are watching, hold on, Uncle's just gone off the screen a second.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay. For people who are watching, Uncle, could you just give a brief introduction as to who you are?
Um, I'm James Ali Bashir. I've been around the sport for 52 years as a boxing trainer, and I've worked with some of the big names in the sport. I've worked with Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Shannon Briggs, Jamil McCline, Vladimir Klitschko, Alexander Usyk. So I've been around the sport for a while, and I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Monty Barrett also, So I've been. I'm more of a heavyweight specialist. Being that
Absolutely.
most of my investment has been with the heavyweights, the big guys.
So the question people will ask you, particularly out of Nigeria, they'll ask the question, have you worked with AJ, Anthony Joshua?
Yes, I work with AJ too. I work with AJ in the Vladimir Klitschko's camp. It was a small run that we worked together, but we did have that time to work together.
Okay, and you were also known as, you mentioned it earlier, the former trainer of Alexander Usyk, who you took to the Cruiserweight Championship of the world.
Yes. Alexander and I worked together for 3 years, before we separated. But we did work together for 3 years, 3 successful years, I might add, and it was good.
Okay, so people want to know maybe the keys to victory and how much of a threat is Alexander Usyk to Anthony Joshua?
Well, when you say threat, different fighters can be a threat to other different fighters because of their styles, because of their mindset, because of their ability, their heart. It's a lot of mitigating factors when you use the word threat. But Alexander Usyk is a very good artist, very capable, and he could give AJ's problems if the right plan is not implemented from the very beginning.
So you're his former trainer. What, in terms of Anthony Joshua, you've worked with Joshua, his physical strength, people would say, well, he's got the physical strength to bully someone like Usyk. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he does. He's a big guy, and Usyk is a small guy. So I would think that he would not play a chess match with Usyk. He'd have to go out there and try to take charge right from the very beginning. Try to negate anything that Alexander Usyk might try to set into play. So he needs to come forward and try to make it happen from the very beginning of the fight.
In terms of size, it seems that Usyk has put on a significant amount of weight coming into this fight, and Anthony Joshua seems to have lost weight coming into this fight. Your thoughts?
I don't think Alexander Usyk putting on anything more than 217, 218 is a wise thing. I think that he should just be who he is and not bulk up, because it could work against him if this fight happens to go into the later rounds. No, I would keep him at 217, 218 and let him work from there. But customarily, when a cruiserweight goes up and he tries to bulk up and go up to 230, 240 pounds, then it creates problems going down the stretch. I think that Joshua is adjusting to what he might have to do, use speed to keep up with Usyk. So Joshua took weight off, Usyk put weight on, it's a mindset. It's the people around him that's influencing this. Instead of
So,
instead of the mindsets of the people around him saying, "Listen, just be who you are." If I was training Usyk, I would tell him, "Be who you are. Use the assets that God gave you, and don't try to go past that." I noticed that when Michael Hunter put on, he bulked up. I think he got big for the Alexander Povetkin fight.
yes, you sluggish.
And he sluggish. You got, you're trying to put too much emphasis on punching power and on muscular strength and stuff like that there, as opposed to going in and using your God-given talents, your speed, your accuracies, your vision. Those are the things that you need to win a fight, not muscles and being tough.
So, in when you've been in camp with Usyk, what's the heaviest you've ever seen Usyk at?
Well, mind you, I was there with him as a cruiserweight, so I never saw him over 214, 215.
And when he was at 214, 215, did you have any concerns that if he got any heavier than that, that his ability to move around the ring, which is what he's known for, would have been negated?
Well, my attempt was to influence him not to get any bigger than 218 to 220 to walk around with, to walk around the streets with, to walk around his normal life with. I always made mention to him that, to try to keep it down below that instead of ballooning up to 230 and 235 and so on. It could make a harder job for you to get down to 200, as opposed. I mean, going back in the old days, I'm going back to the 60s and 70s. It was commonplace for the trainers to teach the boxer, whether they were championship fighters or whether they were preliminary fighters. They would always tell the boxer, don't get over 13 pounds in your walk around. They would tell them to keep your weight at just 13 pounds to 15 pounds above your weight limit, as opposed to getting to 25 and 30 pounds because you had to struggle to get back down to the normal weight.
Okay. So for this fight, who is it a bigger test for? Is Usyk a bigger test for Joshua, or Joshua a bigger test for Usyk?
Again, it's the mindset. It's the mindset. That's what makes the job bigger or smaller. And I can't tell because I'm not there. I'm not in touch with either guy, so I don't know who the fight is going to be tougher for.
From what you've seen so far, in your expert opinion of the two guys, the way Usyk's been training, the way Joshua's been training, the way the two guys have been talking, what's your gut feeling going into this fight?
If my back was to the wall, I'd say Joshua stops Usyk in 10 rounds.
Okay.
I think that Joshua is going to impose on Usyk and wear him out. And I don't say that. I don't say that boldly. I say that cautiously. I think that Joshua is just going to be too big and too strong. And I'm just basing that on what I saw in the Chaz Witherspoon and Chisora fights. How, that he was being backed up and pushed around, from Chisora. And Chisora is not even close to Anthony Joshua. I think that Joshua imposes his will on Usyk and wears him out and engages him late, and I think he might stop him around the 10th or 11th round, somewhere around there. But I say that with caution because Alexander Usyk is a very resourceful guy. But again, if Joshua fights the way that I would have him to fight, the way that I think that he would fight, taking advantage of his of his physical attributes, I think that he might stop Alexander Usyk because it's going to be a tough fight. Joshua was taking note of what was going on in the Chisora fight, and I think that he's going to take advantage of Alexander Usyk. I don't think Alexander has the guns to keep Joshua off him.
So I know earlier, before he went into the Chisora fight, there was talk at Usyk camp that Usyk was unhappy with his weight. He didn't know quite what weight to be at, whether he needs to be heavier or not. And obviously, we've seen now again he's gone and put extra weight on. If you've never put on that sort of weight in the biggest fight of your career, when will you understand it's either a plus or a negating factor in your fight?
Ask the question again.
So I'm asking the question more or less that we know that Usyk's putting on the weight because he had concerns about his weight before against heavyweights. I feel, or from what was coming out of his camp, his weight was not. He wasn't happy with his weight. He felt too light. Hence why he put the weight on. When will he know whether he's made a mistake putting the extra weight on, or it's been a plus factor for him?
I think he'll know midway through this fight, fourth, fifth round, he'll be able to tell whether he made a mistake or whether it was a plus for him to put that weight on him. Again, I think that I would allude to skill as opposed to putting on muscle and trying to punch hard and those kind of attributes. I would invest in the skill factor. Jimmy Young was a small guy compared to a George Foreman, but he outslicked, outsmart, out-hustled George. And midway through the fight, George was baffled as to what Young was going to do because Young was giving him so many different looks that George was baffled. And by the time he figured out what he needed to do, the fight was over. So I think that it's important for Usyk to pay more attention to his technical attributes as opposed to putting on weight and getting ready for a big slugfest. I think that's a bad move. You know, I wouldn't have if I was the trainer for Alexander Usyk, I would never taken him down that street. I would have never said nothing about putting on muscle, getting ready for in-fight, none of that there. On the inside, I would tie him up and I would get the referee to break us, and then I'd go right back to boxing. I'd fight a guerrilla fight. I'd bite at the heels, I'd bite at the elbow, I'd bite at the neck, then I'd run, I'd come back, I'd pepper him with 1, 2, 3 good combinations, tie him up, push him off, go off. A guerrilla fight, guerrilla warfare, you know, it's a smart.
A sniper, in and out.
Yes. In and out, angles, a lot of angles,
Lateral
fast
movement.
speed, you understand, fast speed. And then when I felt that Anthony was tiring, then I'd jump on him with sudden bursts. You know, sudden bursts from combinations, and then I go right back to boxing. I play a mind game with him, a chess game, so to speak.
A
But
lot of people. Go ahead, Uncle.
I don't think preparing for a nose-to-nose inside fight, trying to get knockouts and things like that. There, I don't think that's wise. I would not have done it. I would have kept him working with the technical factors, the things that he does good. I'd pay more attention to what Alexander Usyk does good as opposed to something new, putting muscle on and stuff like that there, you know, trying to sneak a punch in or try to get a knockout or AJ don't have a good chin. I wouldn't gamble with that there. I'd gamble on what I've known and seen of AJ. That's what I would gamble on. You know, I'd look at his past fights, the past 3 fights, you understand? And that's what I put my stock in.
In terms of AJ, now let's talk about him in terms of people saying that he's defensively, they think he's going to improve on this fight and we'll see a more rounded AJ, a more confident champion now that he's no longer on the job learning.
Again, you can't tell until you're under the big lights. I think that AJ will handle the pressure well. You know, I think Alexander Usyk will handle the pressure well because we know that Alexander Usyk is a road warrior. You know, he's a gunslinger, so he's not going to be intimidated by the crowd or about where he's at. I just think that he may be making an error, you know, by bulking up or looking for infights or looking for power shots or trying to get AJ out of there. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. 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 Final thoughts, Uncle, in terms of keys to victory for Anthony Joshua. Because you've mentioned keys to victory for Usyk, keys to victory for Joshua.
Anthony Joshua's got to just be the big guy. He's got to go out there with a stiff jab, a good jab, a confident jab, not no scared rabbit jab, a jab that says, you know, I'm here to break your neck. And whatever I hit, I'm going to move it. I don't care if it's your collarbone, it's your shoulder, it's your elbow. I don't care what I hit with the jab, with my hooks. I don't care. I'm going to break something. That's what he has to do. He has to cut the ring down. He has to bully Alexander Usyk. He has to make Alexander Usyk fight. He has to make Alexander Usyk spend 8 rounds of energy inside of 4 rounds. That's what he has to do. Alexander Usyk, on the other hand, has to get out there and pop that southpaw jab like he's never popped it, because it's a very difficult jab to deal with, a southpaw jab. You know what I'm saying? And Alexander Usyk has a good jab, and he knows how to use it, but he has to be reminded to use it more often than he was reminded to use in the Chisora fight. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't reminded to get back to the jab, because the jab from that angle creates a lot of problems. People say, oh, I can deal with it. But it's one thing to say that you can deal with a southpaw jab, somebody that jabs like Alexander Usyk. It's one thing to say that I can deal with it, and then dealing with it in person. So he's got to be reminded to use the jab and to box. By this time, like I said, fight a sniper's fight. Take a shot, move off, move to another part of the terrain, you know, and box until you get up 7, 8, 9, and then start stepping it up. Go for it, you know, roll the dice. You there, so go for it. But I think that I would have Usyk to box, to give angles, a lot of feints, you understand, and combinations. You know, people say it's easier said than done, but hey, what is it? A plan's a plan. A plan's a plan. If you're confident in the plan and knowing Alexander Usyk, he's confident in whatever he's going to do, he's confident he's going to do it. Whatever he's instructed to do, he's going to do it. He's an easy guy to train. And whatever he's being instructed to do in that corner, he's going to do. But Joshua has got to break up any thoughts that Alexander Usyk has. Like I said, you come in like a tractor trailer. You know, a tractor trailer at full speed, they can wreck anything. Joshua's got to come in. He's got to be the tractor trailer. Joe Frazier said fighting George Foreman was like fighting a tractor trailer. You know, he said, I saw him before the second fight, and then I saw him at the weigh-in at the pre-fight festivities, and then I saw him inside the ring, and I thought that this guy looks like a tractor trailer. You know, he's got to keep Joshua on his heel. He got to cut the ring off and bully him. Because if he doesn't bully him, and Alexander Usyk is given just a little bit of leadway to work his show, believe me, he's going to work his show. It's going to be more difficult for him. He's got to put water on anything that Alexander Usyk wants to do. He's got to pour a lot of water on it. Put out his fire before it starts. But if he gets into a rhythm, if Alexander Usyk gets into a rhythm, any kind of rhythm, he's going to give Joshua hell. He's going to give, and look, it's not out of the question here for Alexander Usyk to stop Joshua. All right? Because, like I said, Joshua gets hit with left hands. Usyk has a powerful left hand. All right? Chisora said that he wasn't punching that hard. But I've worked with him, and the guy is strong, and he can punch. All right? So that southpaw left hand coming can be a really, really big surprise for this Joshua. But my thinking is that Joshua does enough. He jumps on Usyk and wears him down, and stops him late. 10 or 11 rounds. I think he stops him.
Okay, Uncle. Thank you for that. Can you give viewers of TNT a message that will be watching it across Africa and will be wanting their champion to bring it home?
Hey, it's gonna be a hard fight. It's gonna be a real fight. I said many years ago when Alexander Usyk was the cruiserweight champion, I said that one day that he would challenge and become heavyweight champion of the world, and I still believe that there. I just don't think that he can do it against Joshua. He could prove me wrong, but I'm acting as an analyst now, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it based on what I've seen of him as a heavyweight thus far. I don't see how he's going to keep Joshua off him. I don't see how he's going to deal with Joshua's jab. I don't see how he's going to deal with Joshua's power, And if he does do it, then I'll be the first to say, wow, he surprised me. But I'm acting as an analyst now, and I'm calling a spade a spade. I just don't see how he's going to do it. But Alexander Usyk is one of those kind of guys. He lives to surprise everybody. Let's see if we can do it on Saturday night.
And finally, for TNT viewers and African boxers, particularly Nigerian boxers, have you got a message to them, those who want to come from Nigeria and want to box in America? What's your message to them?
Commit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you came from Mars, Pluto, Russia, or Spain. It boils down to commitment. A person, and I'm saying this to male and female alike, because to me, a fighter is a fighter, a boxer is a boxer, whether it be female or male. All you have to do, and it's a big all you have to do, is commit. Put your heart, your mind into what you're doing, and say, look, I've got 10 years in this sport. I'm going to dedicate myself. And I'm going to go for it. Yesteryear, there were great Nigerian boxers that came out of Nigeria, and they always achieved. They always went up to the top 10. I think it was Bashir Ali was one of the guys out of Nigeria. I remember him.
And Samuel Peter.
Of course, Samuel Peter.
Yes.
There was a couple of.
Ike Corte?
No, Corte was from Ghana.
Oh, it's Ghanaian, Ghana, African, yeah. Of course.
But there was a few Nigerian fighters. They always achieved top 10 status. They didn't always go to the world championship, but they always became top 10 fighters. So what I'm saying is that the African fighters are special fighters. The Japanese fighters are special fighters, because they put their heart and their soul into it. That's what you need to go to the top 10. A lot of these boxers nowadays, they make mistakes because they get involved with these flash in the pan so-called teachers and flash in the pan so-called trainers, and they don't never go anywhere. Because on one side, they may know a little something about boxing. I haven't seen a lot of boxing knowledge in the corners that I'm watching. I see a lot of splash and dash, but
Cheerleading.
I don't see a lot of technique, a lot of teaching, a lot of sage movement inside the ring. No, I don't see that there. When I'm watching the corner, I'm looking to learn. All right, I'm always observing what's being said in the corner, how it's being said, when it's being said, and I'm looking to get tidbits and grow from watching.
Yes.
You can
Yes.
learn from
Yes.
anybody at any given time. So I'm always looking for, and I don't get nothing from these guys. I don't get nothing from the corners that I'm watching in modern times. I just can't get nothing out of it. So with these guys now,
I get it. I hear it.
yeah, the Nigerian fighters, like I said, the Nigerian fighters and the Japanese fighters, it's just something about those two boxers that there's something special. But they have to be dedicated and say, look, I'm going to take 10 years of my life, 12 years of my life, and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get me a teacher, not just a trainer, because most of the trainers that's out there now have not been trained themselves. So they go out there and they make mistakes. They make mistakes at the expense of
Of
the
the fighter.
boxer. Yeah,
Hmm.
the boxer get his brain knocked out. Say, oh, now I know better. But in the meantime, the boxer's lost and his brain's knocked out. You know, so these
Yeah.
guys, they learn through trial and error instead of saying I don't know. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
today's trainer is um, they want to put it into a jar. They want to shake it up and say, hey, I'm a trainer. I've done it, and they've been in the sports 10, 15 years maybe, and now they know it all. So I think that it would help if they got with elder trainers, you know, that they could learn from, that they was willing to learn from. But the young people that I've been around, they're not willing to learn. They're willing to say that they want to learn, but then they come in and try to work their own show. That's
Yeah.
why I work
That's true.
alone. That's why I work alone. That's why I work alone. I don't want Precision Craft Boxing International. I don't want this to be a fly by night organization. So I'm very, very serious about who I allow in the circle. I'll sit back and I'll watch and I'll observe and see if they want to learn. If they want to learn, fine. If they don't want to learn, then they have to go somewhere else because I can't. Precision Craft Boxing International is a brand, and I don't want that brand tarnished by somebody who don't know in the name of saying that they do know.
No. Yep. I get that.
So
I
that
hear
so
that.
so the, yes, for the young people that's out there now, they've got a lot. They got a lot on their plate. They got a lot on their plate, but they've got to learn. And the people out there in boxing now, you see boxing is going down the tube. When you got these old guys coming back and having these matches, like the Holyfield match and stuff. When you got these old guys coming, what is that saying about boxing? It's saying that we'd rather watch the old guys as opposed
Don't
to all
watch
these
new guys.
all
Yeah.
these new
It's
guys.
sad. It's sad.
We'd rather watch the old has-been guys. Come bring back the has-been guys because these new guys don't attract us.
Really, both fighting. I think October the 2nd.
And James Toney and Jeremy Williams is boxing again.
Oh no.
Jeremy Williams and James Toney is getting ready to have some kind of. But what is that saying about the sport? The sport is saying, "Oh man, we long for the good old days past. We long for the good old days past because they keep reaching back into the barrel, recycling these old
Evander
fights.
Holyfield, 58 years old. Evander Holyfield. He says he's going to continue fighting as well.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, Evander might tell me and everybody else don't feel sorry for me, but I feel sorry for him. He's 58 years old. You got no business in no boxing ring. He's got no business in the boxing ring at 58, no more than I'm being along in the ring at 70. You know, you can sit back and watch it and think that you could do it, and then the first time you throw a good hook, you tear your rotator cuff, which tells you that your limbs ain't what they used to be. Stay out of it.
Yeah.
Holyfield looked terrible. He's falling all over the ring. He couldn't get off. He stood there taking punches. I mean, I don't think the punches was hurting him, but I think the referee stopped the fight before he can get hurt.
Got hurt.
Yeah, because he was just standing there taking punches. I don't think he was hurt. I think the fight might have been prematurely stopped. But I'm for the fact that the referee stopped it prematurely
Early on.
as
Stopping it
opposed
too
to
late.
stopping it too late.
Yeah. We don't want
So
that.
yeah. So when they say stop it, yeah, I say yeah, that's good. It's a good stop. You know.
Finally, Nigeria's F.A. Ajagba in a tough fight against Frank Sanchez.
We'll we'll see what he has in this fight. It's a good fight for both guys. We'll see what he has. Jagba,
Okay.
we're gonna see what he has to say. We're gonna see what he has in this fight. Sanchez is a good fighter, and when does that fight do?
Same night as Wilder fights Fury for the 3rd, October 9th. On the
It's
undercard.
on the card. It's on the undercard.
On the on the undercard.
Wow, they're trying to make a good undercard for a change. I mean, they're trying to bring back the days of Don King. Don King always had a live undercard, always. So that by them putting that fight on the undercard, that's really, really interesting. You know?
I think Hellenius is fighting Kawanaki again on the same card as well.
Oh yes, that's a really good card. That's a blockbuster card there. I don't understand Hellenius.
Kawanaki again.
I mean, I don't understand Kawanaki wanting that fight. I just don't understand it. You know what? I mean, for what? I'm just asking myself, for what?
I don't know. He'll get hit with the same punches again. Unless he tightens his defense up, he'll get hit with the same punches again.
I'm not saying that he can or can't win the fight. I just don't see the significance in him taking that fight. You know, you don't have to be a master manager to see what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be the most brilliant manager in the world. I would just say, hey, the fight, we lost the fight, let's keep moving.
One other fight's been announced. Dillian White versus Otto Wallin. Just your very, very quick thoughts on that fight.
I like Otto Wallin in that fight.
Me too.
Styles make fights. And I like Otto Wallin in that fight. He's a big guy. He's a lefty, you know, and I like the chemistry of that fight, and I like Otto Wallin. You know, I like Otto Wallin in that fight. But Dillian White is a road warrior. He don't duck nobody. He's there to fight. You know.
Give me a good fight. It'll be a good fight.
I don't know if he can win that fight.
Nor do I. But we'll see. Do you have a final word for Simeon of TNT? He's the host. Do you have a word for him, who's a big boxing fan?
Hey, man. Thank you for your allowing me onto your show. And stay tuned. Stay close to my man here. Ingram Jones, you know what I'm saying?
One more final thing. Congratulations, my bad manners. Congratulations on your win with Vlad Tsarenko now, knocking out Alexander Usnov in the first round. Great shot.
Yeah, that was a good fight. You know, I was concerned about that fight. Vlad told me that early in the round, said that Ustinov had tried to stick 2 jabs in on him, and he parried them. He knocked both of the jabs down. But he would later on tell me, he said that those jabs were very powerful jabs. You know, he said people was criticizing him, saying that Ustinov is 44 years old, but he said no. He said those jabs, if they had hit me in my face or in my head, they would have did some damage. He said because he said he became alarmed. He used his right glove to pick off the punches. He said, but right away it sent a message to my brain that do not let this guy hit you. because he said that
Yeah.
Usyk was strong and that he was punching hard.
Yes.
You know, he said, I had no idea that I was going to knock him out one round. He said, but the right hand that I caught him with, it short circuited everything in his body.
It was a great
You know,
shot. Nobody's ever done that to Snuff.
huh?
Nobody's
No,
ever done that to Snuff.
he hit him on the chin, right on the point of the chin. You know,
Beautiful shot.
and it short circuited him. So yeah, our plan is to box Dupas
Okay. That's a good
in
fight.
France. Yes, on November the 27th. We plan to go back one more time this year.
That's a good fight.
It's a really good fight because Dupas is a good fighter. You know.
He's durable. He'll come to fight. He gave
Yes.
Wilder a good fight. So
Yes, he gave Wilder a very, very good fight. You know. But this is the fight that we've chosen for Vladarenko, and he has accepted it. So now we're waiting on Dupas to sign the contract, and November 27th we'll go to France and fight him. My suggestion to Vladarenko is that he tries to fight everywhere in the world, wherever that the action is, because I don't want him to become a homegrown fighter. I want him to become a world champion. And world champions fight everywhere, wherever the action is. So if he's in France and he's from France, then we'll go to France to fight him. You know, it's a good test for Vladarenko. I believe that Vladarenko can beat him. I think that he can stop him. You know, and this is the kind of message that I want Vladarenko to send. Because if he's not willing to send that message, then he'll get the message when somebody sends it to him. And you understand? So I want him to understand that you got to be the one that's doing the sending. You know, so we'll go to France to fight him there. You know,
fantastic.
He doesn't have to leave France. We'll come there to fight him.
Fantastic. And what's his record now, Vladarenko?
18-0, 15 KOs.
Fantastic, beautiful, Uncle.
And
So
that's
people can see.
We come a long way. You know, we come a long way from South Africa. You know, we started in South Africa, and we come a long way from that. You know, now we up there 18-0 with 15 KOs. And I spoke to Vladarenko in the gym tonight, and I told him that this is getting more and more serious now. Dupas it's not a gimme fight. It's a serious fight. You know, I'm glad that we got Usyk behind us because I did have some concerns about fighting him, but Vladarenko said that he wanted to fight. You know, I said all right, we'll take it. We'll take the fight. But I was very concerned about it. You know, I mean,
I'm glad.
So he got past it. You know, now Dupas is next, and Dupas is something that he can be a problem too.
We're looking forward to Uncle. Thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports, and more importantly, thank you for the interview for TNT.
Yeah, and God be with Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua on Saturday night. You know, the best man is going to win, and you know, I wish safety for both guys.
Absolutely. Uncle Bashir, thank you so much for talking to us once again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good night.
Good night.